Yo, what's up guys? Today I'm gonna be showing you how to remake the song Section by Lyny.
Everybody in my section.
If you want to get the full breakdown, it's going to be over on my Patreon, as well as you can grab the project file. Honestly, this song has been going absolutely crazy. Even Fredigan is combining Victory Lap with Section. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make two of the main sounds from the drop. I know a lot of people want to gatekeep the sauce, but I'm going to go through as much as I possibly can. It took pretty long to recreate this track. It's pretty close if you ask me, but we're going to get into some of the main sounds and I'm going to show you how this is set up. So right on the first downbeat of the drop, there's two sounds layered on top of each other. We have this first downbeat sound here. And then right underneath that is going to be this offbeat pluck. And then together they sound like this. Before I get into showing you how the main sound was created, just know that the note is set to octave 1, otherwise it's going to sound weird. Alright, this sound is made up of 4 different basic shapes, 4 oscillators layered on top of each other. The first oscillator is going to be a sine wave. 1 octave above that is going to be another sine wave. On top of that is going to be a square wave. And then 2 octaves above that one is going to be a saw wave, which is also pitched up a fifth, which is 7 notes. Alright, so we have the sub oscillator, which is set to -1 octave on a sine wave. And then we have oscillator A, which is a sine wave set to 0 octave. The level is at 0%, and the LFO is controlling that level at 68%. Make sure you set the randomness down on all of these. All of them are going to have the random down. Oscillator B is going to be a saw wave set to 3 octaves above plus 7 on the semitone, level at 0, and then again LFO is going to be at 73%. And then we have oscillator C, which is a square wave plus 1 octave, level at 0, and then again LFO is going to be at 32%. Lastly, we have a low pass and a high pass filter on the square wave. For example, the high pass filter is just going to remove some of the harmonics just like this, which is going to help blend these wave tables together. The low pass is going to be at 17 and the high pass is going to be at 23, and then LFO 1 is going to control the low pass filter at 10%. Lastly, on the first page, we're going to have filter 1, which is only going to be applied to oscillator B, which is our saw wave, and this is going to be a ring mod at 65 hertz, and the mix is going to be at 25. The panning is at 58. And this is going to be cool to add a little bit of detune to our saw wave. So if I show you at full mix without it, so it's just detuning the sound slightly, which is going to make it have a little bit more character. Lastly, I forgot to mention on oscillator A, I added an extra harmonic, bin 4 at 16%. This is just going to add more harmonics to the sound and give it more tone. Alright, lastly, we'll go through the effects in Serum, and then I'm going to show you the post-processing. We have a distortion on soft saturation. The drive is set to 0 with an LFO controlling the drive at 25%. Then we have a filter on low 12 with the cutoff being modulated by LFO 1 at 49%, and the cutoff is set to 35. The resonance is at 26 and the drive is at 11. A tube saturation, which this is set to 4% with an LFO modulating it at 23%. And then we have another low pass filter just to control some more of the high end before we compress it. This is at 12,045 hertz, a compressor on multiband at 14.8 decibels, a slight amount of hyperdimension, size at 0, and mix at 8%. So I'm going to show you the processing. Without it, it sounds like this. We have a phase distortion at 53%. normalize at 52, and then the tone is at 29.8. Overdrive cut off at 411, 20% mix, drive at 23. The resonance is at 1.43. We have a ring mod on self with the bias at 81%, rectify at 85, mix at 100. And then here's the EQ settings. We're just taking out some of that main tonality here and boosting up some of the high end. And then we have a soothe, just cleaning up some of this harshness between 1 and 4K. So if I show you a delta, just getting rid of some of those harsh frequencies. And then we just have a low pass filter with these settings just to control some of that high end. And then what's really important is that we have this auto filter controlling the sound over time. That way the sound doesn't ring out too long. The last EQ, just boosting up that tonality a little bit and removing some of that harshness again, and then we just making it a little bit wider. The other thing that you should take in mind is that there's some pitch bend that looks like this, and the pitch bend range is set to 2 and -1. The 2 doesn't matter because we're only going from halfway down. All right, for the offbeat pluck sound, our MIDI is set to C1. So this sound consists of 4 different wavetables layered together. For the sub oscillator, we have a triangle wave, like I said, 1 octave lower, with LFO1 controlling the level at 52%. And then we have oscillator A, which is set to a sine wave with the level all the way down, and LFO1 is going to be controlling the level at 100%. PD from B set to 70%, with LFO3 controlling the PD going backwards -6%. And then oscillator B is a triangle wave with low pass filter at 47% with the level all the way down. Lastly, we layer a harmonic series at wavetail position 6 with LFO4 on the level at 100% with a shape like this. And then this is going to be going direct out. This one's going to be going to filter 1, and this is going to main. And then for filter 1, we're going to do a MG low 12 with A and B. Cutoff is going to be at 8 Hertz with an LFO modulating it at 75% and the resonance at 9%. For the effects, it's quite simple. We have a sine fold distortion at 7%, a MG low 6, 12,045 Hertz with an LFO up to 36%. The same multiband compression at 14.8 with a little bit more stereo. The size is at 0 and the mix is at 25%. Processing we have is quite simple. We have a phase distortion, which is set to 34%, ring mod 35%, 24%, mix is at 36%. Here's the EQ setting. We're just rolling off a lot of that low end and some of the low mid range, and then a transient shaper, which is doing nothing. And that's basically the main sound. I'm going to speed run through the other ones just so you can see how they're set up. So we have this 808, which is from Splice, and we're layering another 808, but we're taking out the low end. It's a little bit more beefy. And then we have the second phrase, this sound. And then lastly, we have this one, which is very similar to this one. We have this West Coast lead. And then this has a little bit of a pitch bend. So that's pretty much all of the basses and synth section. The only other thing that I would mention is there's this little sound effect that's from Splice, which basically gives it a little bit of atmosphere. The kick is basically split up of 3 different layers. I love to layer my kicks, but you have to layer them properly. And then for the clap, we have this south side clap as the main, and then we have an infect clap. And then I have a rendered out version of the clap with reverb, which I like to separate it because then I can mix it in a little bit better all together. And then for the cymbals, we have this push and pull back and forth. And here's all the drums all together. Alright, that is sectioned by Lyny. The project file and the full breakdown is over on my Patreon, along with other goodies like samples and more. Your support really means a lot. If you guys want to consider subscribing, and let me know in the comments down below what track I should remake next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Everybody in my section. And then go sick.